September in southeast Saskatchewan. Most of the usual crops are in the bin. But for the Chief Executive Officer of Global Seabuckthorn Agro-Products Incorporated, the harvest and even the technology to accomplish it is still at hand.
It doesn't take a PhD to do this.
After a long career as a prospector and mining engineer, Colin McLoughlin has a new passion.
I actually love the damn job.
The job isn't what you'd expect a man in his 70s to be doing. But McLoughlin is not the kind to let age dampen his enthusiasm for a crop he stumbled on in China 10 years ago, something called Seabuckthorn.
It's the most multi-purpose shrub in the world.
Seabuckthorn is a bush that originated somewhere in Asia. It's ornamental, it's a drought-resistant windbreak for crops, and the thorns and berries make for good wildlife cover. And for the 50 years it's been growing in Saskatchewan, that was about the end of it. But then McLoughlin came back from China with a trunk full of Seabuckthorn products, starting with dried berries.
You can do exactly the same thing as putting raisins in Kellogg's. Here is a tea product. This is the dried leaf of Seabuckthorn, 26% protein. This is a multivitamin, and I take 4 of these a day myself.
And then there are the stories.
Genghis Khan wouldn't set up his horde unless it was beside a Seabuckthorn forest, because they knew that it created energy for the horses. Duodenal ulcers, liver complaints, congestion of the lungs, and things like that has been very effective. This here, which is the face cream, and this is the face cream that went up with the Russian astronauts.
McLoughlin wasn't born yesterday. He knows the claims he's making about Seabuckthorn are a little, well, hard to swallow.
You just taste that.
Ooh.
Until it's proven, until then it's skepticism. Although it's another, the old days about the old medicine man going around kind of thing, you know, with the snake oil magic elixir.
For much of the past 10 years, McLoughlin has been that traveling medicine man, cruising the roads of Western Canada, promoting Seabuckthorn and trying to diffuse some of the skepticism. Not because he wants to sell what he's brought from Asia, but because he wants to set up a Canadian industry with Canadian growers. Wants it so badly, he's invested $500,000 into the dream.
I can only compare it with a mine. When I first went out prospecting, we can find 150 prospects, and only one of those could turn into a mine. The mother lode, so far as health is concerned, is sitting right here.
Mother lode or not, every mine needs miners, or in this case, growers. People willing to share the risk of something new and unproven. People like Carl Schiffer.
This is a Chinese seed, and so we just put it in like that.
At his nursery near Regina, Schiffer is anxious to start his Seabuckthorn seedlings. With its relatively unknown and unproven medicinal properties, it's a recipe for risk or reward.
Everything is a gamble, really. So I can't wait till everything is set up, and then I go into the berries. I might as well do it now, and because things are changing so fast nowadays.
So are your fingers crossed?
Yes, I got my fingers crossed.
It helps that Schiffer's farm is just a few kilometers from a federal shelter belt research center.
Yeah, they actually look good. They're good.
They provided the plants free, and they're also studying Seabuckthorn to improve the varieties and help decide if the health claims are valid.
They actually look good.
It's good for cancer. I mean, people say, yeah, right.
Bill Schroeder is the plant biologist in charge of Seabuckthorn research.
3 millimeters there. If you go into Russia, and especially into Siberia, they won't have an apple tree, they won't have a cherry tree, they won't have a plum tree, but they will have a Seabuckthorn tree.
The Russians know that Seabuckthorn contains large amounts of vitamin C and E, as well as oils and bioactive compounds known to be beneficial for skin conditions and heart disease.
Compared to this.
But Schroeder is still uncomfortable with some of the claims Asian researchers have made about Seabuckthorn products.
A lot of the claims were coming out of research that was done in Russia and China. Some of the studies that I've seen weren't that scientific. a lot of anecdotal information that wasn't proven.
See, that's what makes good tea.
Proving it in North America is a task that's been taken on at half a dozen test plots like this one.
Show us when it's thornless.
Yeah.
The 3 years of research here has given McLoughlin what he needs even more than investors and growers.
Working with Agriculture Canada has actually given credibility to Seabuckthorn.
Bill Schroeder wouldn't be doing this research unless he could convince his bosses there's an opportunity for farmers. He believes there's a good chance a market will develop for Seabuckthorn, but he's also convinced any farmer who sets up an orchard is going to find it challenging.
In about 4 years, you're going to have a crop that's producing lots of fruit. All of a sudden, you're faced with harvesting about 10,000 pounds of berries. How do you do it? There's thorns in the plant, which makes harvesting by hand extremely difficult and somewhat painful.
Unlike most fruit, Seabuckthorn berries don't just fall off. They'll stay on the bush all winter. Picking them can be messy and difficult.
Unless you have access to a very large labor pool in your area, you probably are going to have some headaches getting that fruit off the plant and into the market.
The other option, of course, is to have the market come to you.
They're talking $2 to $3 a pound, John.
Jack Winiski runs what is likely the only U-pick operation in the entire country that offers Seabuckthorn. At this point, that's more than enough. How many U-pickers would you get for Seabuckthorn?
I could count them on one hand.
This group was invited when Winiski learned Country Canada would be visiting. Only John Corda is a regular. He figures these berries are good medicine.
2 years back, if I got a cold, it was good for 2 months. The last 2 winters, I catch a cold, but it just lasted 2-3 days, and it's over again. So I still claim it on the juice.
I suspect there's something in it. I'm as leery as anyone. I hope most of them are true, because I've got a lot of Seabuckthorn.
Winiski isn't really worried. If he can't sell fruit, he'll sell plants for shelter belts or gardens. But he figures Colin McLoughlin is on the right track.
The only problem is to get an industry going.
Oh, you're getting a knack of it now.
That daunting task, building a new industry, creating a new market, is left in the aging hands of Colin McLoughlin.
They have a real short thorn. You see it right there in the middle of the leaves?
He's got a processing plant lined up, a water bottling factory in eastern Saskatchewan that went bankrupt. He's ordered equipment from Germany, and he's invested even more money in 300 prairie acres that won't bear fruit until he's almost 80. Have you ever given any thought to the idea that this might not work?
Doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. Start again. This is a project that needs to be done. It's not just something I want to do.
For CBC News, I'm Jim McQuarrie in southeast Saskatchewan.